So in last class, we already started with the endocrine system, and I talked about the various hormones which are released from the hypothalamus, the releasing factors and the inhibitory factors. And as well as we already started the discussion about the pituitary gland. And in last class, we already completed with the discussion of the growth hormone. Fine. Now, today we are going to talk about some other hormone, about the growth hormone from the pituitary gland. We already discussed. Okay, pituitary gland we are talking, and in the pituitary gland, we already discussed about the growth hormone in the previous class. Now, today we are talking about the some other hormones, and in it, the hormone is the number one, and that is prolactin. Prolactin hormone. Okay, for the prolactin hormone, I told you yesterday that prolactin is also called as mammotrophic hormone. Mammotropin hormone. It is also known as mammotropic hormone, MTH. Or if we say also known as luteotropic hormone, another name of it. Luteotropic hormone. And this luteotropic hormone is what? LTH. So these are the certain names of the prolactin. Prolactin hormone, mammotropic hormone, or luteotropic hormone, or sometime it is also called as hormone of maternity. Hormone of maternity. Now let's discuss about it, that why this is called as hormone of maternity and prolactin. See, lacto word is always used for the milk. Remember, lactose, the sugar which is found in the milk. Lactometer, instrument to measure the density of the milk. Okay, so the lacto word is always used for the milk. Now here, the word is of this hormone prolactin. And by this, you can understand that prolactin is the hormone which induce the physiological activity of the mammary glands. Okay, it induces the mammary gland. Prolactin hormone induce the mammary glands over there. Physiological effect is shown on it during the pregnancy. Physiological effect when during the pregnancy, and this physiological effect which is shown by the prolactin on the mammary gland, it is responsible for the formation of the milk. Formation of the milk in mammary gland. You all might have understood this thing, that now why just in the end of the pregnancy or after the delivery of the baby from the mother's body, from the mammary gland, why the milk is secreting over there? Because under the influence of the prolactin hormone, what happens? The milk formation takes place in the female body over there in the mammary gland, and then when the suckling reflex is originated, then under the influence of another hormone, oxytocin, oxytocin, which is actually released from the posterior pituitary. I told you it is synthesized in hypothalamus. Oxytocin is synthesized in hypothalamus and is stored in the posterior pituitary. Okay, so ejection of the milk, remember, ejection of the milk from the mammary gland is the function of the milk from mammary gland, is the function of oxytocin. So there is a difference in the functions of prolactin and oxytocin. Prolactin is the hormone which is responsible for the formation of the milk, and oxytocin is the hormone which is responsible for the ejection, secretion of the milk from the mammary gland during the suckling reflex. When the baby suck the nipples of the female, okay, so then at the time what happened, the suckling reflex is originated over there, and which is responsible for the secretion of oxytocin from the posterior pituitary. And when the level of oxytocin is increased over there, then what happened, the pituitary under the influence of the pituitary gland and oxytocin, the milk ejection takes place over there. So prolactin's function is clear to you, I think, that it is the hormone which is basically responsible for the formation of the milk, as well as the oxytocin's hormone is also a little bit clear to you. Fine. Now, after that, what happens if the prolactin is lesser? Will there be any disease? No. We are not saying that any disease will occur, but definitely if in the pregnant woman and after the delivery, the secretion of the prolactin is lesser, then the amount of the milk formation will also be lesser. Okay, and if it is high, then in that case, what, the formation of the milk will be proper one. So there is no disease related with hypo and hyper secretion of it. And now the next hormone about which we are talking, and that is, I told you, gonadotropic hormone. Gonadotropic hormone, GTH, gonadotropic hormone, which, if you remember, I told you are of the two types. One is the FSH. The full form was follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone. And the second is LH, luteinizing hormone. LH, luteinizing hormone. This LH is also named as ICSH in males, only in males. Only in male, ICSH. What is the full form of the ICSH? Interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone, ICSH. Now see, what are the function of these hormones? One by one we talk about it. Since by their common name you can be having one idea about it, that the gonadotropic hormones are the hormones which basically responsible for the growth of the reproductive organs. Okay, and in it, first of all, if I talk about the follicle stimulating hormone here, this follicle stimulating hormone is the hormone which is basically responsible for the ovarian growth in the females. If I talk about in the female, it stimulate growth. It stimulates growth of ovarian follicles, ovarian follicles, and secretion of estrogen from the ovary. This is the function actually. Now, what does it mean? See, in a female, what happens when a female entered into the puberty stage? Okay, when a female entered into the puberty stage, in the female, the onset of the menstrual cycle occurs. Onset of the menstrual cycle. Okay, in the female, a monthly or the periodic cycle occurs over there, which is called as on menstrual cycle. So this menstrual cycle starts over there in the puberty stage in the female. And during this menstrual cycle, what happens in the female, out of the 4 to 5 lakh follicles which are there in a ovary, any one start developing during this menstrual cycle under the influence of this hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Okay. At the time of the birth, if I say in a female, this is the structure of the ovary of the female, the transverse section of the structure of the ovary of the female, if I say, then basically what happened, beta? At the time of the birth, okay, or rather I should say before the birth in the female, the oogenesis begins. Before the birth in the female, oogenesis begins. Oogenesis begins means the process of the formation of the ovum. That already started in a female when that female born, before that, in her mother's body, in her mother's womb. But then after a certain stage, it ceases over there. It stops there. So during the birth of a female, in the female ovary, there are number of the follicles are already prepared, but they are in a cessation condition, means at a particular step the development is stopped. And that developmental stage is called as primary follicle stage actually. So up to the primary follicle, the development of the follicle took place over there in a female before her birth. Now, when this female enter in the puberty stage, when a female enter in the puberty stage, then out of these thousands of the follicle which are there, any of the one, suppose this one, okay, it start developing further. And when it start developing further under the influence of the follicle stimulating hormone, then what happen? In it, the ovum will also be formed, and at the secondary oocyte stage, this ovum is released. At the secondary oocyte stage, this ovum will be released from the ovary, and the process will be called as ovulation. And this secondary oocyte will be received by the oviduct, and there in the oviduct it will wait for the sperm to be fertilized. Fine. So this development of the follicle is under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone, follicle का development stimulate करने वाला hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. In the female it is. So always what happened in menstrual cycle, during the menstrual cycle, in class 12 when we'll come and talk about the menstrual cycle, we'll discuss in detail. I'm not going in the detail of the primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle kya hota hai right now here in this chapter, because we have this all in the detail in the class 12. But under the influence of the follicle stimulating hormone, these follicles develops, and when a follicle is mature, then that follicle is actually called as Graafian follicle. That follicle is actually called as Graafian follicle. Like this is completely mature and Graafian follicle is formed. And in the Graafian follicle, there is a one layer named as theca interna. Graafian follicle के अंदर एक layer, mature Graafian follicle के अंदर एक layer है theca interna, And that theca interna is responsible for the secretion of the estrogen hormone in the female. So when the follicle is developing, okay, when the follicle is developing, that means in the follicle, the development of the theca interna is also taking place. And when the theca interna is developed, then it will start secreting the estrogen hormone also. And that's why during the menstrual cycle, what we observe that the level of the follicle stimulating hormone and the estrogen is changing. Okay, initially the follicle stimulating hormones level is higher, which induce the growth of the follicle. And then once in the follicle is developed, in it, theca interna layer is formed, then it is also starts secreting the estrogen hormone, and that estrogen hormone is responsible for the secondary sexual characteristics in the female. Okay, secondary sexual characteristics. So every time in the female, in the menstrual cycle, this hormone is working over there. Now question comes, this follicle stimulating hormone is released in male also or not? Then we say yes, definitely in the male also this hormone is released. And what is the function of this FSH in the male? Then we say that in the male, this hormone is responsible for the spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means the formation of sperm. Okay, oogenesis means formation of ovum. So in the male, the sperm production begins in the puberty stage under the influence of FSH hormone. So in that way, this FSH hormone is one of the gonadial hormone or not? It induces the development of the gonadial structures, and that's why it is called as gonadotropin hormone. Now remember, this FSH is released from the anterior pituitary and showing their effect on the gonads, on the ovary and testes. Fine. Now, if suppose the level of FSH in male it is less than what? Definitely the sperm production process will be affected. Sperm count may be low in the male or some other problems. Similarly, in the female, if FSH is low, then in that case what? In that case, the problem may be that the proper development of the Graafian follicle may not be taking place, and it may be resulted in the irregular menstrual process and all. But there is no clinical name for these conditions. We cannot say this is a disease or all. Okay, so that is about the FSH. Now, after that, the next hormone is ICSH or LH. Just a second. Now, if you remember, I told you in the female, under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone, the Graafian follicle is completely developed. Okay, and in this Graafian follicle here, this is the secondary oocyte which is there. This is Graafian follicle. Okay, and this is the stage of the ovum, which is secondary oocyte stage. Got it? Now, what I said, that this secondary oocyte stage is released from the ovary. Now, number one, what this process is called? This process is called as ovulation. What is it? Ovulation. So what is ovulation? Release of secondary oocyte stage ovum from ovary is called ovulation. Okay, or luteinization. So under the influence of LH hormone, this process will complete. Luteinization hormone. What I am saying, ovulation is also named as luteinization. Okay, so under the influence of luteinizing hormone, what happened? This Graafian follicle ruptures over there. Okay, Graafian follicle ruptures, and because of the rupturing of the Graafian follicle, what happened? The secondary oocyte stage is released, which will be received by the oviduct. It will enter into the oviduct. So release of the secondary oocyte ovum from the ovary is called ovulation or luteinization, and this luteinization is taking place under the influence of luteinizing hormone in females. Got it? Now question comes, what is the function of this LH in male? In males, what is the function? Now, if we take the transverse section of the testes in males, what we observe in the male, the testes are formed of the seminiferous tubules. Numerous seminiferous tubules are there. And inside the seminiferous tubules, actually, from the sperm mother cells, the sperms are produced. In class 12th, when I'll talk about the detail of the testes and ovary, you will understand it. Fine. In 8, what? The various developing stages of the sperm production will be observed. Fine. But outside the seminiferous tubule, these are the seminiferous tubule. These are the seminiferous tubule. So what I'm saying, outside the seminiferous tubule, in the interstitial spaces here, like here, a group of the cell is there. Here, the group of the cell is there. Interstitial spaces made. This is the interstitial space. Okay, interstitial space. In the interstitial space, there is a group of the cell, and this cell is what? This is called as interstitial cells. What is it? Interstitial cells, or also named as Leydig cells. These interstitial cell or Leydig cells are responsible for the secretion of testosterone hormone in males. But now, remember, this testosterone will be secreted by the Leydig cell or interstitial cell under the influence of this LH hormone. That means from the pituitary gland, when this LH is released, this LH with the blood comes and stimulate to the interstitial cells, and then interstitial cells start releasing the testosterone hormone, and all the characters of the maleness, okay, secondary sexual characteristics, all the maleness characters, they are because of the testosterone, and testosterone is released under the influence of LH, luteinizing hormone. And if you remember, I said it is also called as interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Why? Because these cells are what? Interstitial cell. So it stimulates to the interstitial cell. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone, LH. But this ICHS term will be used only for the males, not for the females. Remember, this is for the male. This LH is used commonly for the male and female both. Clear or not? What is the difference between ox and bull? Yes. See, ox and bull, both are the male. Number one thing, both are the male. But what happens with ox? In this ox, the testes were castrated in early childhood condition. Testes were castrated. Castration means the testes was crushed, damaged. But in bull, the testes are normally developing. Now, in the bull, if the testes are normally developing, that means that will have the normal amount of the testosterone, and here the testosterone will be not secreted. And that's why this bull will be the fertile one. This bull will be the fertile one. Okay. And that ox, that will be the infertile. Okay. The infertility will be there. The sperm production will not take place over there, and that all. So why the castration in the ox is done? To make it more obedient. आपने देखा होगा, है ना। ये है बैल, अपन जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं बैल, है ना। एंड दिस बुल इज व्हाट, जिसको आप सांड बोलते हो। आपने देखा है सांड को कभी कंट्रोल करना पॉसिबल होता है? बुल बुल इज वेरी एग्रेसिव, है ना। बट द ऑक्स, जिसको हम बैल बोल रहे हैं, इज अ वेरी ओबीडियंट वन। हल चलाने के लिए काट में लगा के उसको फॉर द लोडिंग पर्पस एंड ऑल वी टेक देम. So this is all because the castration, and that's why the level of testosterone is lesser in ox, and in the bull it will be greater, aggression cause karta hai. So that kind of the differences will be observed. Is it clear now? Now, next hormone about which we are talking, from the pituitary, we already discussed about the GH. We already discussed about the oxytocin, but I'll talk a little bit more about the oxytocin. Then we discuss about the GTH, the both the FSH and LH I discussed. Now about the TSH. From the anterior pituitary, gland, thyroid stimulating hormone TSH is released, and this thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates thyroid gland. Remember, the thyroid stimulating hormone. So this is the hormone which actually stimulates to the thyroid. Okay. This TSH is also called as sometime thyrotropin, because tropin means stimulate karne wala. The thyroid stimulating hormone or the thyrotropin. And this hormone controls the functioning of the thyroid gland. In what way? That it enhance or influence the absorption of iodine. Absorption of iodine in thyroid gland. From the thyroid gland, the two hormones T3 and T4 are released. Okay. And for the formation of this T3 and T4, thyronine and thyroxine, this is thyronine. Okay. And T4 is called as thyroxine. So for the synthesis of the T3 and T4 hormone, iodine is a very essential part. So under the influence of TSH hormone, what happened? The thyroid gland, the cells of the thyroid gland will efficiently absorb the iodine and synthesize the this T3 and T4 hormone. That means if the TSH is lesser, definitely the activity of the thyroid gland will also be get affected. This level of T3 and T4 will be low. And that's why the people who are suffering from hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, in them, the checkup of the pituitary is also done to see that the pituitary is normally working or not. If pituitary is not working normally and the level of TSH is lesser, then the treatment of thyroid is not required. The treatment of the pituitary is required. But if the pituitary is secreting the TSH in normal way, but still the T3 and T4 are not secreting in the normal condition, okay, in the normal concentration, that means the medicine is to be given for the normal functioning of the thyroid glands. So that all decided accordingly. And that's why the people who are suffering from hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, in them, the blood checkup for the T3, T4 and TSH is done. Got it? Now, next hormone from the pituitary gland is ACTH, and that is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Okay. This adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates through the cortex part of the adrenal gland. This stimulates the cortex part of the adrenal gland, and under the influence of this ACTH from the pituitary gland, adrenal gland, a cortex part of the adrenal gland is secreting the hormones, which actually are of the three type. The one is called mineralocorticoids. आगे हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे इसके बारे में. Mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids and sex corticoids. Okay, these three category of the hormones, these are the categories, because इसमें mineralocorticoid में भी और कई सारी तरीके के हार्मोन होते हैं. Glucocorticoid में भी so many type of the hormones are there, and the sex hormones are also of the type. Fine. So these are the categories. So three category of the hormones are released from the adrenal gland under the influence of ACTH. That means you can understand, if ACTH is secreted in lesser concentration, definitely the hormones which are released from the adrenal cortex will also secreted in the lesser concentration, and the problems will occur. And if ACTH is more in amount, then what happened? The mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, and sex corticoids will also be released in the higher amount. So the problems we'll discuss there in that topic. And now after that, next is MSH. From the middle pituitary pars intermedia, if you remember, from the middle pituitary, there is a hormone released as MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. And this melanocyte stimulating hormone is responsible for the secretion, for the formation of melanin pigment in the skin. We have our skin color because of the pigmentation. The melanin pigment is present. The more melanin pigment, more darker skin color. The less melanin pigment means the skin color will be fair. Got it? Though, try to understand that skin color is not affected only by the hormone, not only by the hormone. Skin color is decided by the genes, about which we will talk in the class 12th. About the genes, it is decided. It is decided by the hormone MSH. Okay, hormone MSH also affects, and the climatic condition, in what kind of climatic conditions you are living. So various factors are there, but yes, definitely MSH is one of the hormone which decide the amount of the melanin pigment in the body, and for the tanning of the skin, it is responsible. Okay, now the question comes, hypersecretion and hyposecretion se kuch hoga. So there is no disease as such, but definitely if the amount is more of the melanin, then darkening of the skin will be there, and if the it is lesser, then the less number. Okay, but now let me tell you one thing. Still, this MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, is not discovered in the humans. It is not discovered in humans yet. Actually, the functioning of this hormone is observed in some other mammal, in some other chordates, like in the fishes, in birds, and in amphibians. It has been observed in amphibians and in bird. It has been observed that this MSH is responsible for the pigmentation in the skin, and that's why it is believed that it might be associated with the growth and development of the melanocyte cells in the humans also, and responsible for the skin color. But still, it is not discovered in humans. Let me tell you one thing. Got it or not? Anything which you want to